Hello, dear friends. First of all, I would like to congratulate all of us. Happy Easter! As Catholics celebrate Christ's resurrection today and Orthodox Christians tomorrow, maybe this is a perfect moment for Christianity and Islam to make peace under a joint space flight around the moon, a real cosmic resurrection for humanity. Uh, I will tell you about two great persons of the United States. Buffett built great empire on coke and cheap Asian labor. Elon Musk builds on satellites and electricity that let even a Kazakhstan farmer tell, sell straight to the world from Kazakhstan. One sipping cola in the 20th century, the others launching the 21st from orbit. So maybe it's time to trade the old Coke sipping oracle to the guy who actually lives in the future. After all, on Easter we celebrate new life, not habits. And now please listen to this text of mine.
Will Buffett's or Musk's investments digitize Eurasia? Warren Buffett stands for the old role of the ultra-wealthy in this era of deglobalization. See his recent comments. His big strategic investors ignore support for small and medium-sized businesses, SMBs, in favor of a tight alliance between oligarchs and organized crime groups in Russia and across Eurasia. Why would Trump want to feed the Kremlin with investments instead of backing SMBs, which form the foundation of a healthy economy in most countries? Buffett himself has never been against globalization. He's always seen it as a blessing for humanity and business: cheaper production, bigger markets, higher efficiency. But that same globalization has crushed SMBs and entire industries in developing countries. In Russia, Chinese exports, often fueled by American investment, killed off light industry. Now, even nails for the real economy come from China, as Valentina Matvienko, head of Russia's Federation Council, has admitted. In the last 5 to 7 years, though, Buffett has openly acknowledged partial deglobalization as a fact of life. Geopolitics, US-China trade wars, sanctions, and broken supply chains are forcing companies and countries to bring production closer to home. That's exactly why Berkshire Hathaway is sitting on a record $373 billion in cash. Buffett sees opportunities to buy great businesses cheaply. But he talks about large strategic investors and corporations with their economic moats, like the defensive ditches around medieval castles. Those moats help businesses thrive whether the world is globalized or fragmented. In Russia and Eurasia, though, strategic investors could play a very different role, partnering with SMBs instead of oligarchs, criminal groups, and multinationals. SMBs are the real backbone of most economies. Here's the evidence that betting only on the super rich is the wrong move in the age of digital transformation and Trump's common sense revolution. 1. SMBs are the true foundation of economies worldwide. Oh, in the EU, 99% of companies are SMBs. They provide about 66% of jobs and 57% of added value. Oh, in the US, SMBs have created over 60% of net new jobs for the past 30 years. Oh, in Eurasia, Russia, Kazakhstan, Belarus, etc. SMBs contribute just 20-30% of GDP, even though their real potential is over 50%. The gap comes from oligarch dominance, red tape, and corrupt protection rackets. Deglobalization should help local producers, but only if SMBs get the chance. 2. Oligarchs and multinationals rely on extractive institutions, an economy controlled by a tiny elite that lives off speculation in oil, gas, and raw materials rather than building real businesses. That's the classic resource curse: paper GDP growth, no mass jobs, no innovation. SMBs diversify the economy and reduce dependence on commodities. 3. Buffett doesn't bet on gold, and he's famously said gold is an asset that produces nothing. He prefers real businesses with moats. His portfolio is heavy in defensive giants like Apple, Coca-Cola, and Occidental. But even those giants struggle in a fragmented world with sanctions, tariffs, and nationalization risks. Local SMBs, backed by smart capital, are far more resilient. 4. Real-world proof that SMBs thrive in deglobalization. Oh, Germany's Mittelstand, family-owned mid-sized companies, powers its exports and carries the country through crises. Oh, South Korea and Taiwan shifted from chaebol dominance to strong SMB support and got huge tech leaps. Oh, in Russia, regions with stronger SMBs, like Tatarstan in certain periods, show steadier growth and less social tension. Oh, World Bank and OECD data across 100 countries, every 10% growth in SMBs adds 1-2% extra to GDP and reduces inequality. 5. Smart capital is already supporting SMBs successfully. Venture funds, family offices, and public-private programs in Singapore, Israel, and Estonia. In Eurasia, it could mean local funds financing agriculture, IT, light industry, and logistics while protecting businesses from raids. Private investors bring mentorship and market access with far less bureaucracy and corruption, especially if money flows in Bitcoin or under Pentagon-level digital security. So, in this deglobalizing world, betting only on oligarchs and giant multinationals is betting on an extractive model that has already hit its limits in Eurasia. Buffett is right that businesses need moats, but he underestimates how much stronger and broader the moats become when you back millions of local SMBs instead of a handful of oligarchs. The data from the World Bank, OECD, and Germany's 3 million Mittelstand companies are clear. Strategic investment in SMBs delivers more jobs, more innovation, and more social stability than concentrating capital in a tiny elite. And private capital, especially digital, transparent capital, loses far less to bureaucratic middlemen and criminal roof schemes. My core point lands well. Musk's digital, border-crossing infrastructure, Starlink, AI, autonomous systems, cheap energy is built for exactly this fragmented world. It can support SMBs everywhere without depending on old global supply chains or local gatekeepers. Buffett represents 20th century global capitalism. Musk represents 21st century digital capitalism. One builds empires on cheap Asian labor and coke. The other builds on satellites, data, and electricity that let even small family farms and shops compete globally. Buffett represents 20th century global capitalism, the era of offshoring production to China, building empires on cheap labor and strong brands. Musk is 21st century capitalism. He's built 6 private digital empires: Starlink, Tesla, XAI, Neuralink, SpaceX, and the Boring Company, that operate above borders, tariffs, and old supply chains. The world is already fragmenting. Physical trade gets clogged with middlemen, bribes, and shady protection rackets. Musk's answer is digital globalization, satellites, autonomous vehicles, AI, and cheap energy that don't care about customs or local thugs. Buffett built a moat around single companies. Musk is building a digital moat around the entire planet that actually helps small businesses instead of crushing them. Buffett got rich on Coca-Cola and insurance. Musk gets rich on cheap electricity and data that let tiny family farms and shops compete on a global scale. Bottom line, Buffett is the past. Musk is the present and the future. While old-school capitalism drowns in tariffs and broken borders, Musk is building a digital empire that flies right over the wreckage. Trump doesn't need a 95-year-old who's afraid of trade wars. He needs someone who makes money in those wars and writes the new rules. Buffett warned. Musk acts. That shift matters for the Kremlin too. Russia should watch closely. Buffett publicly slams Trump's tariffs, but Musk is now the real voice of American strategy. Digital deglobalization that can lift even depressed regions. Musk doesn't fear broken connections. He simply roots around them from orbit. For the Kremlin, this is a clear signal. Stop clinging to the old oil and gas needle and post-Soviet alliances. The future belongs to digital infrastructure, not pipelines. If Russia wants to stay relevant with Trump, it needs to bet on Musk-style thinking, supporting local SMBs with transparent digital investment instead of feeding the old oligarch model. Right now, the Russian economy is leaning harder than ever on small and medium businesses because oil revenues are tanking after the Iran strikes. That's actually good news. It creates the perfect moment to shift capital from state giants and oligarchs to digital savvy SMBs in IT, agri-tech, logistics, and non-military drones. Musk isn't a partner, he's an example. An example of building on top of the old world instead of inside it. If the Kremlin finally gets that and protects regional small businesses the way Musk protects his digital layers, Russia might just pull itself out of the swamp by its own hair, like Baron Munchausen. Otherwise, all the talk about digitizing Russia and Eurasia, digitizing Kazakhstan in 3 years, stays exactly that. Just talk. Will Buffett.
Well, that's all, guys. And I'm waiting for your responses, your recommendations, and happy Easter one more time. Bye bye. See you.